Hey, what's up? This is Terminator Juice back with the Juice Opinions. Kind of a last minute. Um, I didn't see anybody waiting, so I just decided to start it because last few times I did these, um, let me make sure the audio is right. Yep. Last few times I did these, it's like people kept joining the longer I went, so I figured I'd just start and yeah, we'll see when people start joining, get a conversation going. I'm going to talk about my plans for purchasing third party games on Switch based upon a few factors right now. This could totally change in the future. I want to talk about how, for some reason, people just have this irrational judgment on a digital Foundry and what they do, and it just, I think I talked about this before. It's just baffling to me. I want to talk about the non-Xbox handheld, the ROG Ally X with the Xbox designed grips, but according to Linus feels more like a DualSense grip. But either way, I want to talk about that and just a bunch of other things that come up. So wait till hopefully get some people jumping in here. I know it's a Friday night, summertime, even though it doesn't feel like summertime here in Michigan. It's barely been in the mid 70s, is like the warmest. It's been mostly in the 60s in June so far. So but yeah, we're a week and a day since the Switch 2 launch, and this is the first time I've tried to play a game split Joy-Con, and I'm just hitting these SR SL buttons like crazy. I don't have the wristband things on. They're in the box. I never got them out. I also haven't tried mouse mode on the operating system. I barely used the Joy-Cons. I played a decent amount handheld. I've tested out different things. And, I played some Switch 1 games. I played Mario Kart. I played Street Fighter 6 demo. Switch 1 games, I tried Bayonetta 3, Age of Calamity, both Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, Tears of the Kingdom, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Hollow Knight, and Celeste, which I only played for a little bit. So I've tried a decent amount of games. Honestly, there's more that I wanted to try. I wanted to try Odyssey in portable mode. But as far as dock mode, I did check out Bowser's Fury. And yet, it looks better and it runs smoother for sure. I didn't think to change the run button to to GL or GR on the Pro controller so that you can actually turn the camera while you run. So I think that would actually help. I barely played Odyssey. Barely played ARMS. Didn't really notice ARMS. I didn't think was much of an improvement. Yeah, it's a higher resolution, but it wasn't very noticeable for me. And then played Tears and Breath of the Wild dock mode. So overall, I feel like I got a pretty good initial feelings on the system. I really like it. One of my biggest concerns right now is how warm it gets just from sitting in the dock. Even when it's charged, I put the battery thing down so it's supposed to stop charging at 90, but the battery gauge says 87. So I might try that technique to like start it in safe mode and somehow fixes the battery indicator. I haven't really done much in portable mode. Like I said, maybe an hour. I think Mario Kart, I did like 3 or 4 cups in 50cc initially, like the day after I got it. But yeah, I don't like how warm it gets sitting in the dock. Like it's warmer than my hand, so it's above 98 degrees. The cartridge inside is fairly warm, and so I just took it out of the dock. I powered it off, and the last 2 days I just had it sitting on top of my bookshelf that had my games. So I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. I remember the Switch 1, I remember that being an issue, but with Switch OLED, I don't think I ever noticed it being warm when I took it off. maybe it's something, maybe it's a glitch, maybe it's something they can fix, maybe it's constantly trying to charge the system, even though there's no charging indicator when I turn it on. But it does stop at 87%, and I charge it to 90, and then I turned on the charge. I mean, I took off the thing, charge it to 100, or no, charge it just to 90. Then I put back on the thing to only charge it to 90, and next time I turn it on, it was at 89. So there's something going on there. But I just don't like how warm it's getting, just sitting there, because I went like almost 24 hours without using it, and it was still really warm when I took it off. So other than that, I got a screen protector and a case for it. Nothing special case. It houses 10 games. It's not the softest material. And it's got, like, you can't even see because I got the brightness adjusted on this camera. It's got a little net here, but everything falls out of it. So it's not the best. Screen protector went on nice. I'm happy with that. And right now I got it sitting with the dock. Apparently you can set it vertically with the, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of angled, but I guess that is a thing, so you can have it sitting for those old school shooters. But overall, I think it's a great system. I'm a little disappointed in the lack of, personality. They didn't really change much going from Switch 1 to Switch 2, which I predicted. But the PS4 to PS5 was seamless, and yet the operating system and the main menus were quite a bit different, with improvements. And yeah, just like the eShop, it still, to me, isn't that quick. Like, I thought it would be like instant snappy, and it's still a little laggy. Maybe it's just because everybody was online when I last used it. To download the Street Fighter 6 demo, I guess. I had to type in Street Fighter because the demo's only tied to the base version, not the years 1 and 2 version, so I had to search for it. The lack of the friends list, still not being able to send invites and stuff is disappointing. Not being able to add people to the game chat once you start it. There's little things that I wish, or hopefully they'll change. Also, I'm still just not a fan of the lack of ergonomics on the Joy-Cons, the button placement. Yeah, the sticks are smoother, but they're still just kind of shit, in my opinion. Trying to hit the home button and not hit the chat button, or vice versa, happens a lot. I don't know what else. I guess they probably could have put it on the left Joy-Con, because you're not... I take quite a few screenshots, but hitting that home button, I'm definitely struggling. Even on the Pro controller, I'm struggling with the capture button. I keep hitting the minus button. So it's still a Switch. It still has my issues from the Switch 1, but this one's even less comfortable for me. Like, holding it, it's even less comfortable than the Switch 1. Because, like, this is how I hold the Switch 1. I use my pinkies, but I can't really hit the buttons the way I need to, because it's taller. So I kind of have to almost use the triggers to kind of grip, and I kept hitting the trigger button when I was playing Street Fighter 6. So I'm gonna look into possibly a grip, because I doubt there'll be any good third-party controllers that will replace these. Like the split pads and stuff. So I'm gonna have to look at some kind of grips, because the screen is nice, and I was just playing Street Fighter 6 in tabletop mode, and it looks great in portable mode, way better than dock mode, in my opinion. So I gotta get some kind of grips or something. I don't know about a whole system grip, because every time you go to put it on the dock, you gotta take it off. But anyway, I guess that's my biggest complaint. It's just not very ergonomic. If I'm not setting it on like a pillow on my chest when I'm laying down, it's just really not that comfortable. And I still don't care for the Joy-Con analog sticks and the lack of a D-pad. But overall, the system itself, playing Mario Kart, playing Tears of the Kingdom. Those two games I played the most. Um, I'm enjoying it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the future for sure with Nintendo's first party games. Booting up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3, whether it's on the handheld or whether it's on the TV, and all those games are just going from Mario Kart World to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, even X, which is a uh, most recent one, which I thought it definitely better than the Wii U version, but it wasn't like stunning. But yeah, just going from Mario Kart Wii, like a world, like a real Switch 2 game, to a Switch 1 game, there's a pretty big difference. Resolution, image quality, it's a pretty big drop off. The one is This one is cheap and super comfortable. What do you mean? Um, yeah, going back to Switch One games that didn't get any kind of update, it's pretty jarring. Especially Bayonetta 3 in handheld mode in 480p looks pretty terrible. Looks and Yeah, I didn't play much of it, but I tried playing Age of Calamity. That game looks really bad in portal mode too. Like that, gonna guess that's 480p, maybe even lower. If Nintendo can somehow just flip a switch, pun unintended there, and just have every Switch One game run in dock settings when you're playing portable, that would solve so many issues. Like if the developers didn't have to do anything, it just you put in a Switch One game or you boot it off the internal storage, it boots up, you're in handheld mode, and it just triggers tells the game that it's playing docked. Boom. That would solve just about any complaint anybody would have about playing Switch One games on the Switch 2 in portable mode, because most of those games for 720p, 640p maybe, they're going to look a lot better than 480p or 360p. I don't even want to open Hellblade. I have to re-download it. That was one of the worst looking games. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 actually looked better than I expected, but yeah, we need those docked settings on Switch One games in portable. That would actually be awesome. The best thing would be a free update that just bumps up the portable mode to 1080p, like Street Fighter 6. I don't know what it runs in portable mode, but it looks really good. And I imagine Mario Odyssey's probably 1080p and docked. Same with Bowser's Fury, all the Zelda games, all four of them, I would think, all run in 1080 on handheld, and it's just looks really clean. So I'm trying to think of any other games. Well, Splatoon 3 just got an update. The YouTube videos didn't do any justice, but apparently it's running, someone said 4K in docked in the game, and then in the hub world 1440p. Just didn't come across at all in the YouTube comparisons I seen. Like not even close. I even took screenshots on my phone and zoomed in 8 times, and I couldn't tell the difference between the Switch 2 and the Switch 1 footage from 2 different videos, 2 different people. So it wasn't, I don't know, but people who played the game said it's pretty noticeable. But more free updates, that would be great, for docked and handheld mode. So I want to see more of that. I don't know why there weren't more available. It's like Nintendo's had this hardware for years. Like maybe they just really struggled to get the backwards compatibility thing working, and it was kind of last minute. I don't know, but anyway, I thought I'd have a little better audience tonight. I guess everybody's playing their Switch 2s, but I actually forgot to grab a glass of water, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll be back in like 1 minute. So we'll see you in a minute or less. And I'm back. Had to get something to drink. All right. Well, I was kind of hoping to get a little more of an audience before I got into the main stuff, but I'm just going to jump in. People can watch the replay. So, third-party games on Switch. So, my current experience is Street Fighter 6 demo and just watching like Cyberpunk and Hogwarts Legacy Switch 2 versions on my main TV that I play my Switch on, a 77-inch LG OLED. And YouTube, yeah, it doesn't look as good as like running it directly, but it's gotten to the point with YouTube quality, it's pretty damn good representation of what the actual game would look like. And initially, I'd say Street Fighter 6, it runs at 1080p and actually engages 120 hertz mode. So my TV switched to 1080p 120 hertz when I booted it up. I played it a couple matches, then I went out, I disabled 120 hertz, and then my TV was running at 4K 60, and the game looked identical. I even took screenshots, couldn't tell the difference. So the game runs natively at 1080. Whether the Switch upscales it to 4K or my TV, it didn't make a difference. So it gives me an idea of what a game's going to look like if it runs, after DLSS, if it's running at 1080p. There's not some magic thing that's going to take that to true 4K. The DLSS can only take it so far. But I would say Street Fighter 6, after having played the PS5 version for like 30 hours, 40 hours, I forget what it is. It's a noticeable drop off in image quality, which is expected. I mean, the Switch 2's tiny, thin, it's not going to compete with the PS5. But it gave me an idea of, kind of this is one of the better, I think, looking Switch 2 games from what people are saying. Even though it runs technically at 540p, the DLSS brings it up to 1080, but it's a clean image. Looks better than the Series S. Runs at a solid 60 FPS. So, but it's like, to me, it's unplayable on the Joy-Cons. Like, seriously, I can't even beat like a level 6 or level 5 CPU. I just can't hold it comfortably. I'm hitting the ZL button accidentally when I'm playing split Joy-Con. I'm just like, you gotta hit the low punch or weak punch, weak kick at the same time to grab, and I'm like, can't hold onto a Joy-Con and hit like whatever button, BY together, or I have the two triggers as your weak punch. You can't hit those together. Like, it's for any kind of competitive play, it's unplayable on the Joy-Cons in portable mode, in my opinion. Looks good though. I will say it looks really good on the 8-inch screen. I was literally just playing it, 15-20 minutes ago. I think it looks great on the TV. The background looks pretty crisp and sharp, but it's just lacking that extra layer of, processing power, whether it's the depth of field or the better reflections or just the higher quality textures running at 4K. I don't think it's not fair to judge it, but as somebody who has a PS5 Pro, like, am I going to buy Street Fighter 6 or, well, let's just say Resident Evil 9 on the Switch 2 instead of the PS5? Like, unless there's a mouse controls or maybe an online game, I would consider the Switch 2 version, because I have Switch Online with the podcast guys. I don't have PlayStation Plus, so I don't really see me buying any like online focused games on PlayStation. So that would be one example. But looking at the Cyberpunk footage, yeah, it looks good. Digital Foundry did their breakdown. Yeah, there's some textures that are close or match the PS5, but then there's shadow details like below PS4, and then frame rates pretty lock 30 in most scenarios. But with some of the effects of the DLSS going on, and it's a good looking Switch 2 game for sure, but I'm not gonna play that over the PS5 version. What's up, hipsters? So it's like, basing it off though, and in Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, it's got some advantages over the PS4, but it's not quite to the Series S level. Frame rate seems to be okay. There wasn't like a full analysis. I think it was just Switch Up, or I forget, IGN maybe I watched. And that game's kind of janky. And even on the PS5 Pro, like running Hogwarts Legacy, there's still this weird like pauses. There's just weird things happening. Like it's just it was their first game. I cut them some slack. I hope the sequel is a lot better in that regard. Still really enjoyed the game, but looking at it on my TV, via YouTube, but it's direct feed footage of the Switch 2 version. It's a pretty big downgrade over what I'm used to seeing. So with those in mind, I'm thinking about the future. Like, let's say a day and date release. Like, I really love Madden 25. I picked it up, whatever it was, a month ago or whatever. I'm not going to buy Madden 26, but let's say Madden 27 or 28. I don't know if something happens where I'd feel like I'd want a new one. I could see portable mode being an appealing option for that game, and it's not super fast paced, so the button my issues with the Joy-Con buttons wouldn't be a thing with that. But at the end of the day, when I'm playing on the TV and I'm like, feeling like I'm almost watching a Sunday night football game, I don't know if I'd be willing to sacrifice all that. But that one would be one where the portable mode would be more appealing. But let's say Resident Evil 9, say it comes to Switch 2 day and date. I'm not saying it will. I have my doubts about current gen specific only games getting developed for PS5 and Series X actually coming to Switch 2. I have my doubts, but could be wrong. I'm sorry, I'm not going to play a 30 FPS version with lesser visuals of a Resident Evil game when I can play, I'm almost guarantee a locked 60. Well, I guess Villaged it wasn't locked, but a really good performing, really good looking Resident Evil game. I'm not gonna opt for the lesser visual version there. There has to be some reason to get the Switch 2 version that would have to be pretty significant. I think Elden Ring's gonna look and run like absolute trash on the Switch 2. That From Software has struggled, unless they just really just say screw it, we're gonna just drop the resolution. They seem to focus on resolution over frame rate, because even Night Rain, it runs really bad. Even you need a PS5 Pro just to get somewhat decent performance. Even the Series S is decent, but that's not going to be a good looking running game. There's no way. Well, according to Switch Up, who they said they've talked to numerous people working for major studios, Nintendo didn't give out dev kits to hardly any companies. So, don't know why. Was that just to keep things secret? I guarantee you, guys in the Juices Loose think that Nintendo just wants to announce all the Microsoft games coming. There's no way Microsoft got dev kits. There's no way in hell. I think that's why there's no Doom, the Dark Ages announcement. Nintendo wasn't going to give a competitor a dev kit. I mean, look at who's got games out. You got CD Projekt Red, who, supported the Switch with Witcher 3. No Man's Sky dev team got one or two, whatever they got. Capcom, they got one game out, and no Monster Hunter though. EA's got Madden, so they gave EA a couple dev kits probably. Who else? I mean, the Rune Factory, I don't know that name of that. Marvelous. Who else got dev kits? Not very many. Ubisoft's got some games coming out. They probably got theirs early this year. They just didn't give dev kits out. So, and I guess that works for Nintendo's favor because they got no competition for their games basically all year. Borderlands 4, got Madden 26, and whatever the football game, FIFA, whatever the soccer game's called. And then a couple, you got not Assassin's Creed, but Star Wars Outlaws. Tell me another third party game that's like been announced that we know is coming out. So yeah, it was definitely, from what it sounds like, a lack of development kits sent out. But either way, my early impressions is that if you don't have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, I think you're gonna be fine with most of the games that come to Switch 2. But I'm so used at this point 60 FPS, like it's hard to go back to 30 FPS. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a direct this month. I think that's silly. With Donkey Kong coming out, they just announced the Splatoon 3. They teased an adventure game based in the Splatoon universe. I think Donkey Kong's coming out, and then after Donkey Kong, there'll be a direct to give some dates for some other games. Um, yeah, I just said Ubisoft has Star Wars Outlaws has been announced, but it ain't coming out till the end of this year. So either Nintendo was just mad at all the leaks and said we're not giving dev kits to anybody, or they didn't trust them or didn't have enough. I have no idea, but it makes sense because there's not that many games really. Like From Software obviously has had one. They've been working on an exclusive game, which Dust Bloods. Visually, I didn't think that looked very good, and I expect it to not perform very well. From Software is just not very good at technical stuff. I wish Bluepoint would give them some pointers, because Demon Souls looks amazing and runs at a lock 60 FPS. Like I know they took a PS3 game and just added a new game engine and made it look good, but as much as I love Elden Ring, it never did run very consistent. And yeah, so I'm struggling to think of any scenario, especially with the game keycard situation. I didn't even bring that up. Game keycards is another reason I'm probably not going to buy a single third party game. Like this could be like my 3DS, the exclusively Nintendo published games. That's all I own on the 3DS. I have like 10 or 11 games. They're all published by Nintendo. I think the Switch 2 is going to be that. I regret a few of the third-party games I bought on the Switch 1. You know, I played Doom all the way through, but going back, it was just like I just wanted to see what that game looked like on the Switch for myself. What else did I get? I sold Bomberman. I got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. I could live without that. You know, that one's fine. You know, it's just old arcade and NES, Super NES games. But I just don't plan on buying any third party games. Like the keycard thing's one thing. The other thing is just if a game's 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox, it's going to be 30 FPS on Switch. If it's 30 FPS on PS5 and Xbox, I don't know what they're going to do. Like I know that's Witcher 3 was like that on PS4. It's 30 FPS and not a Switch game. There was some Switch games that came over and stayed at the 30, but yeah, it's like I guess I'll just finish up and move on. But if Switch 2 is the best thing you have, I think you're gonna be fine playing most of these games. Like Hogwarts Legacy 2 or Hogwarts Legacy's like upgrade. It's a significant upgrade over Switch 1. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like a beautiful, stunning looking game either. Same thing with Cyberpunk. I mean, it looks good, but it's not like jaw dropping. I guess if you stand still and you don't move, it does look pretty good actually. I mean, yeah, portability. I'm not even talking about portability. I'm talking about the docked experience. Like portability is fine, but you know, just like I said in the Switch 1, the fact that this has to be a hybrid limits what they can do performance-wise. Even though the dock runs significantly higher clock speeds, you know, so it can get those higher resolutions. I just, you know, it just is what it is. If Nintendo released a docked only or a no screen, no portable Switch 2 and could push the system to its max, I'd be curious to see what that would make. The other thing is that they force game chat has to be supported, which uses a significant amount of system resources. The OS, I'm guessing including game chat, uses 2 cores out of the 8 of the CPU, and it uses 3 gigs out of the 12 of RAM. So you got 9 gigs of RAM and 6 CPU cores because of, I'm going to guess, game chat and background downloading. It just is what it is. Imagine if Rockstar had, they're not going to get all 8 cores, but 7 and, 11 gigs of RAM. That could be the difference between getting a major game like GTA 6 versus not getting it. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating, but the portability is fine. Like I said, Street Fighter 6 looks great in portable mode. It looks decent on the TV. It's a significant drop off from PS5, but I think for the most part the games would be able to look fine, especially in portable mode. But just always going to have to sacrifice, the frame rate. And don't expect a lot of 120 frames per second games. Like Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the exception to the rule. And then it has to run at 1080, which for some people, depends on your TV's upscaling ability. That could look terrible. For some people, it could look fine. It's a nice option. I really like that option's there. I don't see myself playing it. With mouse controls, maybe that 120 hertz is going to make quite a bit of difference, but I don't plan on ever playing that way. So gyro aiming 4K 60, I'm good with that for Metroid Prime. But anyway, let's get on to another thing. I brought up Digital Foundry a couple times. It's just funny when they say something people agree with or like, a positive thing that makes them happy, then Digital Foundry's fine. When they say something that they don't want to hear, when they just state numbers, they point out factual information, people get upset, and it just bugs the piss out of me because I was reading somebody's post today. I think Super Metal Dave for some reason popped up in my feed. I think somebody I follow commented on one of his posts, and Digital Foundry agreed with me on a couple things. Dude, you wish you were Digital Foundry. Get the hell out of here. Like, they agreed with you? No. They finally got the game. They've speculated. They've looked at YouTube video. They finally have the game and gave you the numbers. They gave you the stats. They gave you the statistics. They told you what it is, what it does, how it performs. They're not agreeing with you. They're just doing their job. You had the game for a week and you came to some conclusions, and then they came a week later, they put out their video, and yeah, you were right on a couple things. I don't understand this hatred. Honestly, the fact that if you watch like a video that praises a PlayStation game, you'll see people saying that they're paid off by PlayStation. If you watch a video where they're praising the Xbox, or they covered the Xbox quite a bit when the Series X came out, PlayStation guy, you're getting paid by Microsoft to be positive. Nothing says unbiased more than both fan bases accusing them of being paid by the other. Like, either they're being paid by both or they're being paid by none. Either way, they're not biased. People bring their bias into it. And I will say Alex Battaglia, I don't like him. He's a PC nerd. He's a game developer. He cares all about this ins and outs of ray tracing and all these techniques. And he doesn't play. I guarantee you that guy doesn't give a shit about sitting down and playing a game and just start to finish playing a game. Same thing in the home theater community. There's guys that talk and talk and talk. Upgrade this. I upgraded my projector. I upgraded my speakers after a year. You don't need to ever upgrade your speakers. If you buy good speakers, you never have to upgrade them. These dudes don't watch movies. They watch demo scenes from movies. They have people over and they sit and watch demos from the same movie demos over and over. They don't even watch damn movies. I did a theater for a couple and their son back in like 2008, and they never used it. They spent like $4,000, $5,000 back then. It was quite a bit of money. We did this elaborate surround sound theater room, built to surround their TV, so it was just their screen floating in the air. They never did it. So they never watched movies. Yeah, Super Metal Dave's still making content. People still watch. It's crazy. But anyway, Alex Battaglia doesn't play games, so I don't care what he says. I like Tom. Oliver's, his voice gets on me. It's like, I don't know. The way he speaks reminds me of somebody. I can't remember who. He actually plays games. What's his face? John plays games. His game taste is terrible. Of course, he's a Sega fan. Loves Sonic, so that tells you a lot right there. But his end of the year games is just weird stuff. But he plays games, you know. So Rich definitely doesn't play games. He's a tech guy. He's a journalist. He doesn't play games. Like, I mean, he'll play them just to test them, but he doesn't sit down and play games. I guarantee it. He probably hasn't beaten a single game on Switch. I don't know about PS5 and Xbox, but I guarantee he hasn't beaten anything. But the way the fanboys get upset when they hear something they don't want to hear. Oh, you know, the Switch 2 looks to be close to like PS4 settings from the initial. Oh my God, they're compared to the PS4. Oh my God, the PS4 can't do 120 hertz. The PS4 can't do 4K. No shit, dude. Imagine the PS4 with an updated HDMI with DLSS. Guess what? It's going to do everything and more than the Switch can do. They're just saying the basics, the graphical settings, we're looking more in line with PS4. Well, now they have analyzed it further. Yeah, there's some that are around Series S level. There's some textures that are PS5 level. The shadows are below PS4. Performance is around PS4. A little bit, you know, better in areas. Obviously, loading in assets is better than no shit. The PS4 has a 5400 speed HDD. Like no kidding, textures are gonna load in quicker. But just general visuals, you know, PS4, maybe Series S on some games, you know, in between with some texture quality of a PS5 level, Series X level in some regards. Like, at the end of the day, Cyberpunk looks better than the PS4 version, but nowhere near the Series X or PS5 version in motion, running, you know. Street Fighter 6 definitely looks sharper than the PS4 and Series S versions. Series S version apparently was a bad port. You're going to get upset. I mean, generally speaking, Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, there's things in the Hogwarts that there's more viewable area in the background than PS4. Again, better loading in of textures and stuff. That's going to happen, but does it look vastly superior to the PS4 version? No. It's, you know, it's a step above, but it's not anywhere near PS5. So is it closer to PS4 or PS5? I think in most what I've seen, I would say, you know, it's pretty much, you know, just below Series S, in between, you know, PS4 Pro maybe and Series S, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get mad about it though. It was like a general statement. But just over the years, they start fanboy wars. No, they give information, and then the fanboys take the information and use it in their stupid arguments. Like, they're not flaming the fanboy wars by saying, hey, we looked at Red Dead Redemption 2, and on Xbox One X, definitely the best version to play, runs at the best frame rate, and runs at the highest resolution, so you get, you know, that's the best place to play. But PS4 Pro is decent, you know, it's just a little bit lower resolution. And oh my God, they're so bright. Like, or it's like, oh, why do they have to zoom in? Because you're watching it on your damn phone. That's why they have to zoom in. Look at your phone and then hold it up to your TV screen, and how much of your TV screen does your phone take up? If you zoom in maximum on your phone and then hold it up your TV, it's still, like, that's the only way you can see what they're talking about. That's always annoyed me. You have to, if you can't look at your phone, this tiny ass screen, split screen, and see a difference. They have to zoom, even like, I guess even on your normal TV, if you're sitting from far enough away, they have to zoom in. Otherwise, why even say what they're saying? If they can't prove or show you what they're saying, then why would then they can't even say it, because then people are like, well, prove it. Yeah. So they're proving it, and then they get called out for zooming in. Well, they have to zoom in. And even times where there's barely a difference, they even said, well, this is kind of a boring comparison. There isn't much to talk about. They say it all the time. Like, to them, it's more interesting when there is something to talk, when there is a major difference between one and the other. Like, that's when it's interesting. They covered the Switch games. Those are very interesting. They really, you could tell, like, they weren't annoyed at having to cover the Switch one. They were thrilled because it gave them some excitement. Because look at what this dev team had to do, figured out to get this game running on Switch One. They were excited about covering it. Like, it's just weird to me. It's like people hear what they want to hear and they see what they want to see. Bring their own bias into it. I was already talking about the Switch 2 earlier, Lenny. I really like it. I don't like it's less comfortable in portable mode. The Joy-Cons to me aren't any better. Trying to play Street Fighter 6 in portable mode with these Joy-Cons is absolutely unplayable. But overall, I like the Switch. But anyway, I gotta go feed my cats. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna take a little break. We got some people watching. Hang out. I'll be a minute tops. I'll be right back. And we'll continue the discussion. All right, I'm back. Anybody else got any questions? I'll just wrap up this whole Digital Foundry thing. Like, again, just to reiterate what I was just saying, they like actually having something to talk about. So when there are differences, you can tell it's more interesting. When there isn't, there ain't much to say. I've always looked at it as a buyer's guide. Hey, if you have an Xbox and a PlayStation or a PC or a Switch, here's what you're in for. If you're trying to decide which version to get, if it's like you're on the fence, let's say, you like the DualSense controller, that's usually your go-to. But, if a game just, for whatever reason, has issues on PlayStation and the Xbox version's fine, like, that's good information. Like, the Switch 2 right now, should have waited a couple months. It depends. Have you played Cyberpunk, Hogwarts, Street Fighter? What else came out? Split Fiction. Like, have you played those games already? And how much do you love Mario Kart? Do you have online friends to play with? Do you like playing online? Like, that's really what it boils down to. If Like, I got 20 hours in Mario Kart. I haven't touched it in 2 days. I played Expedition 33 last night, and I haven't played anything other than a few matches of Street Fighter 6 demo, just to kind of get a feel for the portable mode. Does Donkey Kong look appealing to you right now? It's not. I'm not sold on it. I hope to be wrong. I hope it's amazing, but if you like your Switch One and you just want better performance, I mean, let's say someone like me was kind of waiting for Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, I was kind of hoping someday there'd be a Switch Pro or something where it'd run good. I might pick that up. I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, but I think there's going to be an update, so I don't really want to get much further into it. As far as like Tears of the Kingdom, I played the opening area in the sky, those 4 shrines and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I'm sucked back in. Like, this is amazing. It looks amazing. 60 FPS. It's just, the sound is, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast. The sound of Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition is so much better than Switch 1. Like, my subwoofer actually was being used. I actually felt a rumble in my couch when some cinematic was happening with Ganon, lifting the castle and stuff. Like, but as soon as I got on the ground and I started doing it, I'm like, I'm not going to do all this stuff again. I'm just going to do the main story, kind of follow it more linear. If I actually finish the game again. But other than that, I'm just going between. For me, I'm going through between my PlayStation. I got Expedition 33 and Madden 25. I'm doing my 2024 season with the Detroit Lions. About halfway through. I'm really loving that. And then Mario Kart. I'm trying to get people to play tomorrow, Saturday, starting around 4:30, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I should put my friends list out there. I have a good amount of people on my friends list, but trying to get a 24-player lobby would be awesome. I just have Mario Kart World, Lenny. I don't have any other Switch 2 games. Unless you count Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition. Technically, they are as close to a Switch 2 game as anything else I have other than Mario Kart. And I have no intentions of buying anything else. I'm not going to buy game key cards. As tempting as Street Fighter was just to have it because I have Switch Online and be able to play it online. I'm not too thrilled. The D-pad on the Pro Controller, I keep jumping when I'm trying to hit over. So I don't know if that's been resolved or not. I kind of had that issue with the other Switch 1 Pro Controller. But yeah, other than Mario Kart World, the next game I know I'm buying, that's Switch 2, is Metroid Prime 4. So that's technically a Switch 1 game. So does it even count? The next Switch 2 only game would be Age of Imprisonment, unless something gets shown that tells me I don't want the game. Like, if they pull another Age of Calamity where it's some side story, spin-off, alternate reality bullshit, then I'm not going to be as interested. But if it's like the story is truly the imprisoning war and the frame rate and everything's good and the game looks and runs good, I'll be picking that up. After that, though, it's up in the air because we don't know. Kirby Air Riders, I could care less about. What other Switch 2 game? Donkey Kong, Kirby, Age of Imprisonment. Do we know of any other Nintendo first-party Switch 2 games? Like, only Switch 2? I don't think so. Obviously, we know that in the future we're going to get some, but as far as, like, been confirmed. Yeah. I think that's it. Like, But to answer your question, to recommend it, I mean, it's a good system. I mean, I like it. Just depends on where you're at with your Switch library. What game, if you played all these games. And not that different from Nintendo's available Switch 2 games. Oh, yeah. Yep. Um, Robert and T were having quite the debate yesterday about if Mario Kart World is game changing in the series. I say for sure. Like, I'm not gonna tell you who said what, but let's just say one person wholeheartedly said it wasn't game changing, and the other person wholeheartedly said it was. I think it is game changing. I think all the new tricks, the wall riding, just seeing the speedrunners go nuts with the new abilities. I think the open world aspect, while I don't like some of the straightness of the racing in between in the Grand Prix, some of those straight sections are just boring. Just give me 3 laps on every race, on every track, and I'd have been happier. But I'm enjoying the P switches. Photo mode is amazing. I love free roam mostly, mainly for the photo mode, but P switches are fun. Unlocking the costumes by driving through the food, getting the food items. Really enjoying that. The knockout tour we played, haven't played it online since like the first 2 days, which is disappointing. Trying to get people to play tomorrow. If you're watching this on Saturday, the 14th of June, if you're watching after that, it's too late, but I think Mario Kart World definitely is a game changer for the series. Now, do they absolutely have to do the open world again? No, but I think it would be pretty shocking to go back. I'm guessing after 8 years of having an open world, and who knows what all they're going to add to it, if they're going to keep adding to it, to go to just a level base, select from a menu racing a game again. That's going to be tough. So, yeah, that's my take. I think it's definitely game-changing for the series. It's not the most game-changing. The whole thing started out when Clocked It said that it was like first time since Breath of the Wild came out that he was like fighting with his kids, for time on the Switch. And Robert took that as him saying that Mario Kart World is like the Breath of the Wild for the Switch 2 or for Mario Kart. I'm not getting those vibes. I still only can play for 1 to 2 hours. And I don't even say 2 hours, a good hour. Just, Mario Kart 8, I would do the cups a couple at a time. I kind of took my time. And then played online when the buddies got together. I actually played a lot of online with randoms too, but 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half, I'm ready to turn it off and play something else. I probably have 4-5 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. I have an hour in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely wait. Like, the price ain't gonna go down, so there's no reason to wait on that front. If you got the funds and you see one in the store and you enjoy your Switch and you're still playing Switch 1 games, you might as well play them on Switch 2, because you're just going to get a better experience. Anyway, let's get to the last thing, because I don't want to be here all night. The Xbox ROG Ally X, whatever it's called. I should have found the video. There's a video of a live reaction where they're all excited until they see the ROG symbol, and it just gets quiet, and the guy on the stage is still trying to hype it up. It's exactly like an Xbox. Oh, whoa! And everyone's just dead silent. It was embarrassing. The thing is just goes in line with it, with Xbox. Like, of course it wasn't going to be an Xbox handheld. Of course it'd be your Asus ROG Ally X with an Xbox logo. And yeah, the grips is a cool thing. Like, that is a good addition. But when that thing launches with that new full screen Windows, that's going to hit all the other ROG Allies. There's no reason to buy the Xbox only one other than the grips. Like, and that makes it pretty chunky. But let's look up handheld reaction, because it was pretty funny. if I can share my screen. Give me a second. Let me try to get the second screen here. Display capture. Still here, just trying to get my second screen up. I don't know why it didn't work. There we go. Make it full screen. Make this full screen. And let's see. Let me get my headphones in. The crowd gets pretty excited when they think it's a handheld. I mean, they're not like, it's not crazy. I don't know if this is the right one. But it's getting pretty loud. That's IGN. Still, most of the people aren't like through the roof, but wait till they see the RLG.
Guys, we manifested this! We manifested this!
Dead. Blues and dead silent. The guy's like, it's basically an Xbox.
This is real!
Natively. They're all like, come on.
Guys, look at that Xbox buy right there. Silk
So,
there it is again.
Again, the grips look great. Looks like a great addition. But as an Xbox fan, are you really excited about an Xbox branded ROG Ally? Like, you can buy it right. You can buy one right now. Like the X with that same chip, processor, everything. Yeah, it doesn't have the more streamlined version of Windows at this point, but guarantee you when that comes out, it's gonna get it. So the other issue is the base model, which they're doing basically a Series S, Series X situation, which is just like they have now, is $650 for the one that's out now, and the more powerful ones $899 and $999, so $900 and $1,000. Now maybe Xbox gonna strike a deal and it's gonna be $550 for the low end one and $750 for the high end one. But you're just getting a ROG Ally. Like, again, the grips are definitely the better option, I think, versus the standard one. But it's a PC. It's a Windows PC. It plays your games via PC. You know, whether I don't know how Steam boots up. Linus did a video on it. They don't even know how they're gonna update Windows 11. They didn't have an answer for how they're gonna handle updates for this system, this new Windows. They don't even know that yet. He's like, is it gonna be simple like a automatic update like a home console or a Switch, or is it gonna be, oh, I got to do driver updates and all this manual stuff? You know, I'm sure they'll get it figured out, but like, it plays your PC library. I'm guessing you're through the Xbox app. I'm hoping that if you're like me and you have Forza Horizon 4 and Trials, I forget which Trials it is, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, like those games that I have the Xbox PC version, I'll be able to play those natively. Other than that, it's cloud-based, so you know your Game Pass cloud-based stuff's gonna work. Is Game Pass PC just gonna natively work? I guess I don't know all the details, but like, it's still a ROG Ally. Like Flight Simulator 2024 or whatever, 2025, it's gonna run how it runs on the ROG Ally X right now. Trying to think of some other games that are Xbox, definitely on Xbox. I mean, Steam, apparently you're gonna be able to get Steam on there. It's just a slightly more, I don't want to say slightly, but sounds like it's not gonna be that much more than the Steam Deck power wise. So you're gonna have like a Steam Deck. It's really, if for people who are thinking about buying a Steam Deck, I mean, it's significantly more expensive. I just don't know if you're just an Xbox fan, like a diehard Xbox guy, how you're excited about this. Like, other than, like I said, the grips making it more comfortable. Yeah, it's gonna cost between $650 and $1,000. You know, the two versions. One will probably, maybe they'll get it down to $550 or $600, but with, they already raised the price of their Xbox hardware. No one's buying the Xbox hardware. Like, as a PC gamer, you could be like, all right, you know, this finally could be the PC handheld I buy, you know, like, just, but a lot of Steam Deck owners, you know, they love their touchpads on there. That really helps with the mouse stuff. And that's one of the issues with the ROG Ally and the Lenovo Go is like doing any kind of mouse controls. But I just, how are you excited for this? And somebody I really respected for years, you know, acting like this thing's so great. And I'm just like, dude, like, it's a fine device, but you're going to be paying for it. And it already exists. It's nothing new other than the grips and an Xbox button. You can just go buy one right now. Like, you know, it's just, it's not exciting. It's not a game changer. It's not a revolution of it. It's just a ROG Ally X with a Xbox icon and grips. You know, that's what it is. It's not an Xbox. It's, you know, it's a PC. So if you like PC handhelds, then you're probably going to like it. It's not going to be worth upgrading. If you already have a ROG Ally, I guess for the grips, maybe that makes it more comfortable. Maybe you would trade it in or sell yours to get this, but it's just crazy to me. It's like, it's not probably, my guess, just going off how Xbox branded stuff's been selling, it's not going to do 2 million. That's my thoughts. Like, ever. Like, total. Like, right now the Steam Deck is estimated between like 3 to 4 million sold, and then the Asus and the Lenovo Go combined are estimated around 1 million. So, and the Steam Deck does it without being in stores, because, you know, Steam Deck, I think they did a lot better job with the Steam OS and stuff. Maybe the new full screen Windows thing, but that's just going to be applied to everything. Lenovo Go, which has a Steam Deck variant, and they're all just super expensive. Like, it's not even going to be even a blip on the Switch 2's radar. Like, they're not going to be any competition. They're not going to sell that well. The Steam Deck's probably going to end up being the highest selling. Maybe the Steam Deck 2 could outperform it, but I don't know. Depends on pricing and the upgrade, but it's just kind of sad to me to see some guys getting excited about it like it's some great thing. Now, again, it's nothing to be mad about. It's just it's a PC handheld. It's going to be expensive, and yeah, it's probably going to run multiplats better than the Switch 2, but they don't have DLSS. You know, they have FRS. I don't even know if it'll support FRS 4, which FRS doesn't do a very good job. They're not going to get dedicated. That's the thing. Are they going to make dedicated ports for this? Like, is Gears Judgment, whatever, I don't know what the new one's going to be called. Is that going to have like a specific port that's going to be fully optimized for the ROG Ally X? Maybe. And if it was, would that run better than a Switch 2 dedicated port? Probably. Is it going to be much of a difference? No. Is the docked experience with the ROG Ally X going to be good? No. Like, even if you buy like a USB hub to dock it to your TV, it's just a very underpowered PC at that point. On your large 4K TV, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look that good at all. So, It's just silly. Like, it's just another misstep. I just don't know. Talking about this at work, like, I think I might have mentioned this on or after the podcast, but the Andor director, creator, whatever, Tony Gilroy, was told by Disney that streaming is dead and they weren't going to give him any money for the rest of the show. And they compromised by combining 4 seasons into one final season. They told him, according to him, that streaming is dead. And guess what? A lot of companies put a lot of investment in streaming and it didn't survive. Xbox has put a lot of money, a lot of time into Game Pass. Is that going to carry them? Like, can that carry them into the next generation? Like, you went from 80 million Xbox 360s to just under 50 million Xbox Ones to sitting on like 22 million Series X/S consoles after 5 years, 4.5 years. Probably end around 30, 35 million if they're lucky. What's the next Xbox going to sell? GameCube? Go back to the original Xbox sales? I mean, there's always a chance they could recover and do a Nintendo with the Switch, have a comeback. There's always a chance, but who's paying for Game Pass? Like, I guess if you just put Xbox Game Pass on every PC, every handheld, every TV or whatever, and every phone, I guess, people might pay for Game Pass that way, but it's been the thing I've been saying since 2018. No one's hyping up Netflix. No one's trying to sell people on Netflix all the time. Maybe back when it first came out. You know what the problem is with Netflix? What if you want to watch? What if you're new to you're just, maybe you just turn 18. You never watch Game of Thrones. Guess what? It's not on Netflix. You hear all this good stuff about The Boys or The Expanse on Prime, or all this hype about Fallout. Guess what? You're not watching that on Netflix, so you got to get Amazon Prime. Oh, I heard The Last of Us Season 1's really good. I heard there's like a really good animated Harley Quinn show. Oh, you got to get Max. Oh, I really want to watch Sonic 3 or that new Mission Impossible movie when it comes to streaming. Well, that's Paramount Plus. Guess what? No, not one streaming service gives you everything you need. Now, Netflix has a lot of stuff, and it has one of the best shows ever, or best seasons of a show ever, in Arcane Season 1. But eventually you're going to watch it. You got to have other things. You can't just have Netflix. So by the end of the day, you're spending $100 a month on streaming services. Game Pass, the same issue. As many games as it gets, there's still tons of games it doesn't get. Lots of Game of the Year games it doesn't get. Baldur's Gate 3 didn't get that. What was the last one? I know Astrobot won, but like Expedition 33's on there. Okay, that's going to be a Game of the Year contender. Good for Game Pass. Monster Hunter Wilds, pretty big hit. That wasn't on there. Black Myth Wukong, I think, finally hit Xbox. Not on Game Pass. Resident Evil 9's not going to be on Game Pass. Street Fighter 6 wasn't on Game Pass. Obviously Stellar Blade's not on Xbox, but that just launched on PC. Not on PC Game Pass. Like, there's always going to be a bunch of games that aren't on Game Pass. So it's like, all right, so now you're paying $20 a month. Plus, you still have to buy a bunch of games. Now, Call of Duty's finally on Game Pass. So, that was one of the ones I used to say, Call of Duty's not on Game Pass. Well, now it's on Game Pass. Good for you guys. You got Call of Duty. Madden's on there, I guess. I don't know if the new one's on there, but EA partnered up. There's definitely games on there. I'm not saying there isn't. But there's always going to be big, major games that aren't coming to Game Pass. It's just the way it is. So you're paying for Game Pass and you're still having to buy games. So I guess if you can just play 5-10 games a month, not even 5, like say 3 games a month, 2 games a month. Yeah, it's cheaper than buying them separately, but at the same time, is that a business model for long-term success? It obviously didn't help your system sales. Didn't help your brand. Now you're putting all your games on PS5. It obviously wasn't the winning strategy, you know? Like, I buy 1 or 2 months of streaming service to watch, and I watch, cancel it. That includes Game Pass and place. I don't have any problem with getting Game Pass for a month to try out or play a game that you weren't, like, sure you wanted to buy. But let's say you play it, and you're like, dang, this is really good. I wish I owned this. And you've already got $20 in because you had a month of Game Pass. Then you have to buy the game. I guess you could wait till it's cheaper, but I don't know. Just for me, I'm not quantity guy. I'm a quantity or quality guy. If I only play 5 really great games each year, new games, I'm happy. You know, like that satisfies me. And then I'll play some. I'll catch up on some games. Like this year, I replayed The Last of Us Part 1. I'm playing Madden 25, which came out last year. What other old game did I play earlier this year? You know, I still dabble with Elden Ring. I played the DLC. I feel like I'm missing a game that I played a decent amount this. Oh, Returnal. I went back to Returnal. Finally did the expansion this year. But I'm happy with 5, 6 new games each year, and you know I'll probably get 2 or 3 of them towards the end of the year. Like I'm fine with that. Like I'm sure that's why Game Pass has just never appealed to me. I just like take my time. I find a game that looks interesting. I pick it up. If I enjoy it, I take my time with it. Like I've had Expedition 33 for I don't know 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm like 20 something hours in it. I'm just taking my time with it. Like I'm in no hurry. I gave up a long time ago trying to watch every movie, watch every show, play every game. Like there's not enough time. There's not enough time to watch more than like I watch the NFL, I watch my Detroit Lions. I don't have time to watch the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Tigers. I don't have the time. I'm not going to make time. I got movies I want to watch. I got games I want to play. I got shows I want to watch. I got YouTube I want to watch. There's a couple YouTube channels that I'm every week. There's a guy called Matt Armstrong. He repairs crash damaged like supercars, and he releases at least 1 video a week, sometimes 2 on the weekends. And they're like an hour long, and I'm always there to watch them. There's reaction channels that a girl watches Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine every Sunday at like 11. She uploads 2 videos. I watch them. You know, that's, to me, my time is set. I've divided it up. Some days I go on a binge. I'll watch 3 movies in one Saturday, or I'll watch no movies for 2 weeks and I binge on gaming, or I'll binge on a TV show or YouTube. You know, it's like I don't have enough time to even think about trying to play every game. It's just not even a question. Like I watched the Games Fest. I watched the Xbox Showcase. I saw like 2 games. Well, Resident Evil 9 for sure. That Chronos game, that horror game, looked appealing. Pragmata, is that what it's called? That looked interesting. Ninja Gaiden 4 looked interesting. You know, those 4 games kind of stood out. Other than that, you know, yeah, that looks fine. That, you know, this game looks fine. That game looks fine, but nothing I'm gonna give my time to. You know, like it just is what it is. You know, besides all that, I got cats that, you know, I'm not just gonna ignore them all day. I play with my cat like 30 minutes, sometimes an hour a day. I mow the grass. I shovel the driveway in the winter. I have to grocery shop, make food, and sleep and go to work. I'm sorry, just don't have time. So Game Pass just never appealed to me, and it's probably just because of that reason. I mean, I don't need to play. I don't need to pay $200 something a year so I can play every single game. You know, like it's eye-opening how much more value you get when you buy games and movies instead of renting them from a service. I just rewatched the original Star Wars trilogy on Disney Plus, and I mean, I enjoyed them. Still don't love some of the special edition changes. I don't feel that accomplished because I don't own them. The last thing I bought was the special edition DVD set before Episode 1 Phantom Menace came out. That's the last time I bought Star Wars original trilogy. And I didn't get much out of watching those. Like, I mean, I enjoyed them, but at the same time, it felt kind of hollow because, like, well, I watched them. I paid, $10 for a month of Disney Plus. I watched Andor was great. I'm definitely going to buy that on 4K if they release it. I have season 1. But buying movies, even if I buy some cheap Blu-rays, cheap 4Ks, and watch them, and I enjoy them, like, I love it, because now I have the movie. I can watch as many times over the years as I want. Don't have to worry about anything. And I just have them, So, I don't know. Xbox is a weird thing. People can, they're the largest gaming publisher now. Well, no shit. You better be. You spent almost $90 billion. You better be the largest publisher. Like, like you bought Bethesda or ZeniMax or whatever. You bought Activision Blizzard. You better damn be the biggest publisher. But I just think in the long term, I mean, I don't know, man. They got all these companies. They own all these companies. Can they ever just not exist? Or can they sell them? Or are they always just going to have them now? Like, the console business could go away, but they still have all these companies. Like, that would be quite the sale if they tried to sell these off. So they're not going to close them all. There's too many for them to shut them down. I mean, I say that, but I don't know. I just don't see how they can continue with this path. I don't see it as a winning formula. I don't know. It could be wrong. 10 years from now, they could be the only one left. I don't know. But what I feel right now, it was the biggest mistake they ever did, was doing day and date PC on everything, trying to put Windows 11 or Windows 10 on Xbox and trying to put Xbox on PC. Having Robert bought Call of Duty through the Xbox app on PC, and there was only like 3 people in a lobby. They had to refund them. I really don't like PC guys because they are very stubborn and annoying. They're not gonna sign up for Epic even when they give free games away because they got Steam. All their friends and their entire libraries on Steam. They're not going to sign up for Epic. They're not going to sign up for EA, Ubisoft. They're not going to create a PSN to play PlayStation exclusives. Which reminds me, I don't know if this required a PSN, but Stellar Blade just smashed some records. Like 180,000 peak players on Steam on like a Thursday night or Wednesday night. The next highest PlayStation exclusive to put a peak on PC was like 70,000. It was like Ghost of Tsushima was like 60 or 70,000 peak players, and Stellar Blade was like 180. Then it was averaging like 90 to 100,000 all day. It's a great game. It was my game of the year last year. Of course, there was right away an article about thirsty PC gamers. It's like, oh wow, a game with an attractive character that's actually a really good game with great combat. Oh my god, and people are playing it. And the thing is, I bought it over a year ago. Day one, PS5. Played it. My game of the year. I got put like 90 hours in, and I feel nothing bad about it coming to PC. Like, I don't, on one hand, day and dates, every single game, trying to put everything, like maybe that's PlayStation's goal. Definitely, there wasn't 180,000 players on PS5, I bet, in the first couple days. But it doesn't bother me that former PlayStation exclusives now on PC. Yeah, honestly, Wisdom, going back to Bayonetta 3, I only played it for a few minutes in handheld mode. I was struggling with the button layout and just hitting everything. I know Bayonetta 3 is way deeper. I know it has some really cool combat with the giant. I forget what their summons or whatever they're called. I remember really liking that. I still think Bayonetta 2 is a better game. But man, Stellar Blade, I just wish there was some better enemy variety, I guess. But damn. It's like Sekiro, a little bit of Sekiro, a little bit of Nier Automata, a little tiny bit of Bayonetta, I guess. It has some combos. It's not as deep as Bayonetta. It's, but it's great. Like the counter system, once you get the hang of it, the boss fights, I mean, it's stellar. It is. And you have attractive characters in. Oh my god. What a concept. I forgot about that game. Was it updated for Switch 2? Bayonetta 3? No. It runs at 480p and docked. Looks terrible. But it runs at a lock 60. It's just a free performance boost for being on the Switch 2. It didn't get any upgrade. Could use a resolution boost for sure, but it's already running at a lock 60. Just, I didn't care for all the little side stuff in that game, but Stellar Blade's great. I'm curious, does that require a PSN? Because if it did, then that's a big success. If it didn't, then that tells Sony, because it's technically not their game. So that would probably tell Sony, hey, it doesn't require a PSN to play. So that tells Sony right there, just give in, just give up. PC players are not gonna create a PSN to play your game. They're gonna freaking get it somehow illegally and somehow play it offline. I don't know if that's possible, but on one hand, it doesn't bother me when PlayStation exclusives hit PC. On the other hand, I think day and date trying to blend PC and Xbox together was what killed Xbox. I mean, I still remember that announcement for Quantum Break. It's like, I don't know where I was, but I just remember that the day hearing that and just like, what? Like, all your games are going to be like just day and date. Like, I don't need an Xbox then. I just upgraded my PC. Like, that was my thoughts. And I think a lot of people went that way. But well, they're still buying the game, Juice. They're still buying the game. So, and Windows, every PC has Windows, so Microsoft's still making money. Well, yeah, Microsoft's making money, but the Xbox brand has not been the same. Sekiro gets good, I will say. Sekiro gets really good. It's not as pretty. It's not as polished as Stellar Blade. Sekiro's, it's definitely a From Software game. No map. I don't think it has a map. I'm trying to remember. It's definitely challenging, but Sekiro's good. I'd give it another chance, but Stellar Blade's really good. But just thirsty gamers. You don't think there's thirsty females out there that get excited about attractive men? Whether it's in movies or, my sister tried to make this dumb argument and then she own gold like minutes later talking about the Christmas movie. She had two choices and she ended up going with the one with the hot guy or the cutest guy. And that's the one she watched after she told me that it shouldn't matter. Like 5-10 minutes before that, we were arguing about it. This whole idea that she brought up a comment about not everybody, we can have normal people play parts in movies and stuff. Normal looking people. I'm like, even unattractive people want to look at attractive people. It's nothing vain about it. It's just people in general want to look at attractive things or pleasing things to their eyes. 10 minutes later, she's talking about how she was telling my brother, ended up watching this one. Wasn't as good, but the guy was really cute, so I watched it. Oh, really? And she's like, oh, she realized what she had done. People just like looking at pleasant, attractive things. I'm sorry. Like, it just is what it is. And beyond that, Stellar Blade's a really good game. Now, there's some design choices I would change that I didn't love. That whole section near the end where you're avoiding missiles and stuff, I thought was stupid. Some of the enemy types, it's a little repetitive on the enemy types, but the combat's just really fun. And there's a lot of combos. There's a lot of little intricacies. I probably haven't even come close to mastering that game, but it's really good. So I'm happy for that game doing well. And it's like, you know, maybe it is. Maybe, I mean, I agree that it is kind of sad of the human race that we need to see pretty things all the time, you know, to like be interested. But it's just the facts. Once you know the facts, stating the facts shouldn't be controversial at all. Like, not every character in every movie or every game needs to or has ever been the most 10 out of 10 attractive person. You don't need every character and everything to be, but you know, your leading actors, if they don't have some sort of attractive a personality or a really compelling, really charming person, they don't have to be the most hottest of hot, smoking hot people, but they have to be attractive on some level for people to be able to want to watch a movie, you know, with following this person. There are exceptions, of course. There are exceptions. Really funny people can carry a movie. You know, just really great acting can carry a movie, but at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to be looking at unappealing, unattractive imagery when you're watching movie shows or playing video games. It's a pretty simple formula. Yeah, you don't have to have giant boobs hanging out in bikinis and stuff. You don't have to have that. Just have appealing, visually appealing looking characters. Like Nintendo's got some pretty appealing looking female characters. They're not like, it depends on the game, but you know, they're not exposing themselves. They're not like double D ridiculous features. They're just cute, attractive characters. You know, you could argue Mario is a cute character. Like he's a well designed, you know, animated cartoon character. If you even Meryl Streep wasn't bad looking. Yeah, the last 3 or 4 bosses was in succession. It's little I persevered. I wish I recorded my battles because legitimately when I checked online, my playstyle was way better to watch. The parrying system incredible. Still talking about Stellar Blade. If you think that game is just about how the girl looks, you're crazy. Yeah, that's, I mean, I won't name any names, but somebody I know that, you know, one of his first comments was, oh, other than the ass, what's the big deal about that game? It's like, well, there's a 2-minute trailer. You see 2 booty shots. The rest of it just look at really cool combat, enemies, and stylized, like, futuristic world. Like, there's a lot to look for. Like, there was a lot to look excited about. And once I played the demo, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sold. Like, this is a good combat system. It's just really good. It's a great game. It's got good music. It's visually, technically a good game. Runs great. And you have like some attractive characters. Even the dude, attractive. The 3 or 4 female characters in there. I mean, Lily's a cute character. You got Eve. You got Taki. You got Raven. Some of the just NPC characters are kind of dumb looking with their robot heads. They never explained how that happened, but you know, it's not a bad formula. I'm not saying every game is gonna get away with it. I'm not saying it's gonna make a bad game good. Like the first Descendants looks like an absolutely boring multiplayer game, but they just keep throwing ass and titties in these characters. Could care less. I mean, yeah, the character looks good. Game looks like trash. You know, like it's not the only way. It's, you got to have more than just pretty characters. You know, like sex appeal can only take you so far. Senra Kagura took it, you know, pretty far, but you know that's a fan base right there. The hentai anime waifu fans, yeah, that's a different group. That's a different story, but you know, and it just is what it is. But some people, they create a character. Robert always made the ugliest, freakiest looking, character on create a characters games that you can make a character. It is what it is. Either way, I'm happy for the game, and I think I'm gonna get out of here now. I went way past my planned time, which, what is it? Hour 30. Okay, we'll call it a day. But yeah, I want to get some Mario Kart. So I let me put my friends list, or my friend code. We still gotta do friend codes. Let me put that in the chat. If you have Mario Kart World and you want to play, anytime you see me in the online lobby, jump in. So my Switch friend code, I'll put it in the description, or the pinned comment though. 07801236. I don't have my glasses, so I think that's right. 078012362817. And let me know what you're at. Like, post a comment afterwards. Like, what's your actual Switch name? Like, I got people on here who I know watched the podcast in the past, but I don't know. Like SK Massive, I feel like he used to watch. I got a Tony in here. I forget. Stitched. Laker Link's in here. JC Grooves. Clasher R. He used to race in the Mario Kart tournaments. Triple J Zoo. But yeah, there's a guy here. I have no idea. Vagulum. Oh, that's that used to be. I got a friend request. Look at that, real time. So that is Wisdom Prince. Nice. Become friends. So yeah, anytime you see me in an online lobby, just join. Like, now I have some restrictions on game chat though, but I'm not like, I'm open to chatting with people, but at the same time, sometimes there's no chemistry. Obviously early on you don't really know. Like, multiple friend requests. So everybody's True. Yep, Mr. True. Self-explanatory. I might have been friends with some of you guys in the past. I cleared my friends list quite a while ago. Like, if somebody hadn't been online in a while, or hadn't played with them in forever. Try to just narrow it down. But I was hoping there'd be an invite system with the Switch too. Yeah, unfortunately, if you don't have a Switch 2, you can't play Mario Kart World. Mine's T-Juice, T_Juice. But, I see one person playing Mario Kart. I see a Daemon X Machina prototype mission. What is that, like a demo, or is that the original game? But either way, there's no message system, so it kind of sucks. But planning on playing tomorrow. I'd love someday to get a 24-player lobby with all friends and viewers, and try to get Sandstorm and a couple of his buddies, and ask Nia the Video Gamers, which she don't make a lot of videos anymore, but she used to be on YouTube. I'll ask Robarula too. Just try to get as many people as possible, because Knockout Tour with 24 humans would be pretty cool if we all kind of knew each other. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock here. I don't think I'll be jumping on tonight, but we'll see. I'm getting old. I go to bed by like 10 p.m. usually almost every night, so I don't stay up much after that. I'm gonna try to talk Terrell. Hopefully get T. Robert clocked it. I haven't tried Game Share, no. Retro Death doesn't have a Switch 2, otherwise I'm sure he'd play. Wish some of the old Mario Kart tournament guys would show up. Malik, I believe, used to. Who else? I don't think I have too many left. Rajo. I don't know. I think I got rid of a lot of people. But anyway, I didn't care for the Demon X Machina Switch 1 demo. Like, that was like a huge turnoff. So the new game looks better, though. They look way more action-packed. Oh, yeah, I get the Switch Friends notification on the app. That's cool. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. Anybody watch the replay? I'm sure I said some things that people disagreed with, which is fine. Difference of opinions is there's nothing wrong with it, as long as you don't start rioting and destroying property and burning cars because you don't agree with someone's opinion or, you know, a certain somebody that's in charge. No, I don't have any Capcom fighting collections. I should. I want to get the Street Fighter one. Yeah, I don't know about Jamie Butterworth Ibs. I haven't seen him in a long time. I actually removed him from my friends list a long time ago because I just haven't seen him. Alex, remember Alex Prime? We used to, who was it? Zen Gamer. Do I still have Shadow? I think Shadow Fox still on my friends list, so hopefully he can play. But even if we get a dozen people, it'd be cool. So, yeah, that's going to be it. So, we'll be back on probably Monday, do the podcast, and hopefully have a good story to tell about all the Mario Kart action with all you guys. So, until then, we'll see you next time.